people have to speak up, because $1,100 for a uniform for one child is a lot.
What started as a concern among a few parents has grown to include hundreds. The issue is the specific type of uniforms that students attending the Fargo Catholic school system must buy.
In particular, clothes made by a top designer. Valley News Team's Joshua Peguero spoke with one of the parents who is also upset with what she calls a lack of transparency from the Catholic school system in the Fargo area.
Amber Bryant has a 7th grader enrolled at Sullivan Middle School in Fargo.
It'd really be nice if we could just enforce the dress code as hand, not change everything.
Bryant is part of a Facebook group called JP2 Moms. With more than 100 people in it, the topic of conversation for the past 6 months has been a uniform change requiring parents to buy Tommy Hilfiger clothes.
It's extremely pricey. It costs about $1,100 per child for a uniform to get through the year.
Since our recent reports highlighting next year's change, the level of parents expressing frustration with JP2 has grown dramatically. Brian says some parents are just scared to speak up.
These parents are nervous about embarrassing their child.
Some of the parents that I spoke to say their biggest issue with JP2 is that public discussions weren't held about the uniform changes, and they wish they were more involved. JP2 school system president Mike Hagstrom says they set up a uniform committee a year ago to discuss the change. Public meetings weren't held, but Hagstrom says the decision was made in the best interest of the school system. He added that Tommy Hilfiger clothing is of high quality and will last longer than the lower priced clothing.
These kids outgrow uniforms like crazy. My daughter's probably grown 4 feet in the past 2 years.
Brian says parents want a seat at the table whenever JP2 leaders deal with drastic changes like this. She and other parents say they hope this decision is reconsidered. In Fargo, Joshua Peguero, Valley News Live.
JP2 students are not required to wear the uniforms this year, but those who don't wear the new school uniforms starting next year will not be allowed in the classroom and can be sent home to change. If you need help, call our whistleblower hotline. The number is right there on your screen, 237-6576.
From the bursts of sunshine to the warmer temps, this has been a terrific early December Tuesday, and Hutch is back as well to brighten our day, or in this case, night. He's here with your No Wait weather planner. Hutch?
Well, I'm glad I could brighten your evening, Mike. It is very quiet weather today as we enjoyed some 30s. That's above average temperature-wise for this time of the year. Take a look at the visible satellite imagery. You can see all the white that's not moving down here. That's our very heavy snowpack that was delivered by our late weekend snow system. We melted a little bit of that today with temperatures in the low 30s. That's where we remain heading into the evening, while it's even warmer to the west. Here is a look at your planner for tonight. It's going to be a little breezy. We'll have an increase in clouds in some areas with temperatures in the low 30s here in Fargo. And we'll be in the upper 20s to low 30s as well in Grand Forks. Overnight, there'll be a chance for some patchy fog. I'll show you where that's most likely to develop, and we'll talk about your forecast for your midweek day on Wednesday. Big time changes coming in the extended forecast. I'll let you know about all of that here in just a few minutes.
All right, thanks.
A Grand Forks man is sentenced to 2 years in prison for sexually assaulting a young girl. Officials say 33-year-old Derek Mortrude was sentenced yesterday in Grand Forks County District Court. According to court documents, Mortrude pleaded guilty to a charge of solicitation of a minor. He was originally charged with gross sexual imposition of a victim under the age of 15, but the charge was reduced. Mortrude also faces 5 years of probation once he's released from prison.
Wadena's Humane Society is reminding pet owners to bring animals to them before taking matters into your own hands. This follows a dog ending up at a woman's door with a gunshot wound. They say it happened last night around 9. Luckily for 3-year-old Elise, her injuries were only superficial, the bullet grazing her shoulder and exiting through her ear.
This is a special case where she's very lucky that she gets this opportunity to get a second chance at life.
Costner adds that the shelter raises money to help those getting rid of an animal but can't pay or don't want to pay the fee.
A woman was kicked and trampled by a horse today at NDSU's Equine Center on 19th Avenue North. Details are limited, but it happened shortly before noon, and the woman was taken to a nearby hospital. We do know that the victim was moving horses at the time and was not a student or an NDSU employee. We tried contacting NDSU police for more information, but they have not returned our calls.
Some parents are fearing for their children's safety in South Moorhead. A dad that lives near Reinertson Elementary called our whistleblower hotline, saying that the roads in his neighborhood are a snowy disaster. He's scared for kids going to and coming from school and wants something to be done about it.
They've had plenty of time to get out here and clean this up, and I haven't seen a plow truck all morning. You know, I'd hate for one of them to get hurt or hit or ran over.
The city says every road has been plowed and they're coming back to clean up South Moorhead on Friday. They say if you don't see a snow plow within 24 hours of a snow event, call them.
Signs like this one will be showing up around Dickey County, James River access points. With high river flow scheduled all winter, any ice activities will be extremely dangerous because experts say the ice will be thin and the changing flows may leave gaps between the ice and the water. They warn if you fall through, rescue will be nearly impossible.
The University of North Dakota has a new school president. He's a brigadier general and retired dean of the Air Force Academy. Andrew Armacost will take over from Mark Kennedy, a former Minnesota congressman who earlier this year was named president at the University of Colorado. Armacost served more than 30 years on active duty and spent 20 years both a professor and executive at the Air Force Academy, including stints as Dean of Faculty and Chief Academic Officer. He is the 13th president of the university.
Plans for Horace's new high school have been approved by the City Commission. The designs you're seeing now debuted during last night's public meeting. The new facility will be built at Cheyenne Street and 76th Avenue South, and it will be connected to Heritage Middle School. Initially, it will serve 1,000 students, but the design gives the school opportunities to expand when there's a need.
North Dakota's next generation of teachers are using cutting-edge technology to pick up next-generation skills. The University of Jamestown says its Smart Lab allows its education students to apply technology to different projects, even using video games as a learning tool. The $100,000 lab lets the future teachers develop courses around technology to find new ways to engage students.
So we brought in EduTech from North Dakota, and they trained the students in the class on Minecraft and how to use Minecraft educationally in the classroom. We've connected with the third grade class. So for the final, the students will create a Minecraft lesson.
Staff say that the lab also encourages more communication and collaboration amongst the students.
Some of Fargo's most vulnerable people will have more access to affordable housing. The U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development is awarding 100 new affordable housing vouchers for people in Fargo who are especially vulnerable or at risk of homelessness. The vouchers will allow Fargo Housing to create more affordable housing opportunities within the city.
When it comes to improving its affordable housing options, Fargo needs your help. There's an online survey asking for residents' feedback on its plan for housing and community development. City staff say that they anticipate receiving millions of dollars for housing and community development in the next 5 years, and the survey results will help them focus on needs.
Later on Valley News Live at 6, if you think the air outside feels cold, imagine being out there in it wearing just long underwear. Why one man is braving the weather.
And temperatures today a little bit above average, but it won't stay that way forever. 35 degrees as we melted just a little bit of your snow in Fargo today. Likewise, mid-30s in Grand Forks. We'll have details on big-time cold air heading our way next.